Hello and welcome to Record Rap, the Adventist Record News Podcast. It's Thursday, May 15. I'm Juliana Muniz.
And I'm Jankiewicz.
In this week's episode, a youth worship event in Sydney became more than just a night of praise, and new Pathfinder owners sparked creativity and maybe some debate over haystacks. But first, Ashley, please tell us what's making headlines this week.
ADRA Serbia's year-long project, School on Wheels, is bringing education to around 200 Roma children. Many face barriers attending school, such as distance and inadequate living conditions. Approximately 250,000 Roma people live in Serbia and have experienced poverty for generations. As education is a proven path out of poverty, this project enables children to build better futures. The travelling classroom is a fully equipped trailer that travels into communities, and the bus that pulls the trailer can transport children to ADRA's community centre where they can attend creative workshops. In other news, a study published in the annual World Happiness Report found that those who eat more meals with others tend to have higher satisfaction in life, as well as being more likely to express positive emotions. The study does not specify whether happiness is a result of shared meals or if happy people are more likely to share meals. However, researchers believe both scenarios are true and are eager to see results of future studies. This shows how integral community is to well-being in today's individualistic society.
Now back to the South Pacific. Hundreds of university students and young people from across Greater Sydney came together for a night of worship at Mount Druitt Samoan Church on May 9. And according to Greater Sydney Conference Youth Director Dejan Stojkovic, the spirit of unity was deeply felt.
It was absolutely unbelievable. I felt that the moments that we shared there, they were not just spiritual, uplifted moments. I saw this was a moment of reunion for so many. This really spoke to me because events usually have just the one purpose. It's like we need to have a good music, a good speaker. What happened was young people just stayed for so long. Nobody wanted to go. We realized this is one way of really reviving and bringing community together. And so we are hoping that this is not just a one-off, but actually many moments of reunion and being together.
The Mount Druitt Conquerors Pathfinder Club led worship for the program. Pastors Chris Campos and Raul Moran shared messages of encouragement. Another highlight of the evening was pizza provided by Domino's Plumpton. Pastor Stojkovic ordered 90 pizzas from the establishment, and when the owner heard about the event and the work being done with young people, he offered a generous discount. Pastor Stojkovic posted a short TikTok video on his page sharing the story. The video received more than 12,000 views in just a few hours.
I believe that people are looking for stories of humanity and people are looking for the stories of actually doing something more and going beyond for somebody else. Maybe that is what inspired many who joined and saw the story on TikTok, which at this stage I think has about 14,000 views and many comments, including very positive comments about the church, but also extremely positive comments about the owner of the Domino's. You can see how people who do not go to church, they were so positive that Adventist Church is doing something like this. And so I believe that a church needs to be outward focused, not inward focused.
The video is embedded in the online article about this story on our website. The Australian Union Conference Youth Department has released 6 new Pathfinder honours developed with input from leaders across Australia. The new honours range from gem fossicking and trout fishing to paper airplane and steps to Christ. And one that's already drawing attention is the haystacks honour.
The honours have certainly created some interest, and the one that's created the most interest is probably haystacks, which is, of course, an Adventist classic. And it asks important questions like, where does the cheese go? Well, actually, that's not so important. But it also has questions like, what would be a good Sabbath afternoon and conversation to have while eating haystacks? It's also about food preparation.
That's AUC Youth Director Pastor Jeff Parker. He also explained why new honours are developed.
The reason we're doing new honours is to keep the whole Pathfinder program fresh. A lot of honours were created right up to the 80s, and then there was a big halt on it. So we challenged our Pathfinder leaders to help us be creative, send in some ideas, ask questions, write a few thoughts, and they have done that. And we take what they give us, we edit it, we put it all together, and put it into the Pathfinder program, which is pretty amazing.
And with the momentum building, the AUC youth team is already working on new honours to keep Pathfinders exploring and learning.
Probably my favourite honour is one that's just about to be released, and it's going to be called the Greatest Hikes of Australia. It will feature the Overland Track, which is an 85-kilometre hike across the high country of Tasmania, but it'll also feature hikes in every state, probably 2 or 3, and we're working on that at the moment. That's really exciting.
Now, Ashley, I have a very important question for you.
I'm listening.
So when it comes to haystacks, where does the cheese go?
On top of the beans every single time.
What? I completely disagree with that.
No, it has to melt.
Yes, it goes under the beans.
Oh.
You see, you have to put the chips first, and then the cheese, and then you put the beans on top. So then everything will come on top, and then the cheese will be very warm and it will melt properly.
I've actually never tried that. I will have to. Some people put it on the top of everything though,
Yes.
at the very end.
Sometimes I go to the Sydney Adventist Hospital here across the road for lunch. On Wednesdays, they do serve haystacks. And every time I ask them to put the cheese under the beans, it usually takes them a little while to process what I'm asking. And then they go, oh, right, because then the cheese will melt.
I don't think very many people do that though. It's actually very smart.
Now I'm curious to know how our listeners like their haystacks.
Cheese under the beans, on top of the beans, or on top of everything.
You can email us your response and maybe we'll include it in the next conversations page in the print magazine. And that wraps up this week's episode of Record Rap. Thank you for tuning in.
Don't forget to visit our website at record.adventistchurch.com and follow us on social media for more updates and stories. You can also receive news straight to your inbox by subscribing to our weekly e-newsletter.
We'll be back next week with more news from around the South Pacific Division. See you then.
This is an Adventist Media podcast.